We're live.
Welcome to the best sports betting show on the planet. This is WagerTalk Today. I'm your host, Andy Lang. It is Thursday, jam-packed lineup. Gianni's back with an episode of the Steam Report. We're going to talk NFL, college football, and, of course, Major League Baseball. We're going to dive into college football. We're going to break down a Major League Baseball game, and, of course, we're going to preview Thursday night football. Joe Raineri is going to break down the game, and I'm going to give you some props here at the end. So if you're betting tonight or this weekend, this is the show that gets you ready to turn a profit. Thank you so much for joining us. Go ahead and hit that like button. No time to waste. Let's bring in Gianni for the Steam Report. Gianni, I hope you had a good couple of days. It's Thursday. I know you're busy. We're going to start off with NFL. What are we seeing?
Yeah, sorry, just sending this out real quickly, play that came in. So far tonight, believe it or not, since it's settled, it's good two-way action. And you usually get that on double-digit favorites in the NFL. Like, no one's really in any big rush to go out there and lay double digits. And if you're getting double digits, no one's probably in a rush to go out there and back you. So it's one of those standalone games that it's almost like a MMA main event with a heavy favorite, where you're kind of forced to get a little creative. And that's what you're seeing, because everybody that's betting Buffalo tonight, they're betting them in different ways. Like, they're teasing them with a bunch of stuff for Sunday. They're using them on money line parlays. They're betting them in the first half. They're betting them team total over. Like, they're finding different ways to bet Buffalo instead of having to lay that heavy chalk. We know that immediately we saw sharp money come in on Buffalo on the look ahead. The look ahead was like 9.5, 10.5. It got as high as like 13.5, and that's where you saw take back on the Miami side, which isn't surprising. And that's why I always say, when you're following your odds logic screen, or at the very least your WagerTalk odds screen, make sure you click that matchup and look at where that line was and when did it settle? Because a lot of times we're seeing big movements in NFL, but it's based on the look ahead. Because again, this week, while we're watching week 3 games, there'll be lines for week 4 that are being bet, but the limits are low. And that's why you see some of these 2-3 point line movements. But then after everyone opens up, you're not seeing much movement. And that's kind of like here. Now everyone's 11.5 across the board, and you're seeing pretty good two-way action, again, with the risk being on the Buffalo side. Like, if Miami won this game outright, that would probably be the best possible outcome for the sports books. You know what I mean? It's a long shot, but that's pretty much what they're doing. The total, they're betting it over. No surprise there. You saw sharp money come in on the over, but at 48.5 and 49. Since then, it's been the public betting it over 50, 50.5, 51s. So they're going to tie it in, tease it with the over in tonight's game. That's pretty much what's going on. Again, not the sexiest standalone game, but already getting some action.
Let's move to Sunday. Are we seeing anything major in Sunday? I know quarterback injuries have, really kind of dominated some of these big line moves, but most of the numbers seem to be settled in. Anything jumping off the page to you?
The Colts immediately. The look ahead got bet, and then through that key number got hit as well. Like, they laid the 2 look ahead, they laid the 3 minus 120, and that's why you're looking at 3.5s and 4s. It's probably even impossible right now to find a 3.5 out there. Same thing with Atlanta. The look ahead was 2.5 and 3. That's what got hit, and then they brought out 4.5 on Monday, and that got hit as well. And that's why you're looking at 5.5s right now. But at any shop that went to 6, we saw take back on Carolina. So 6 or higher, you're going to get some short money on Carolina, which for the books, that's a good sign, because now they know if they keep getting one-sided Atlanta money, if they want to limit that risk a little, all they have to do is go to 6, and there'll be some takers there. They could write some action on the other side. If you don't see them go to 6, especially come Sunday, then rest assured they're taking a position on Carolina, because it's been one-sided Atlanta from the public, and that'll be one of the more one-sided teased games as well. Vegas got hit. We actually bet Vegas today. Again, I'll share that with you.
Oh, okay.
I bet Vegas for them at the look ahead at 6.5 and 6. And I figured, okay, they just asked me to go and bet that here in cash, because I figured that line is just not going to be available anywhere. So it's just someone that wants to take advantage of the number. The most, I think we got down like 1,500 on it. Make a long story short, they brought it out at like 5.5. That gets hit yesterday. 4.5 gets hit today. take the 3.5 or like take the 3.5. So the same group that was willing to take 6.5 on Vegas came back and also took 3.5 on Vegas. That's rare because almost always you're going to see the opposite happen where they get the 6.5 and it goes down to 3.5 and they may buy. And if it don't get the 3, they'll buy back a little bit, have a small middle working. You know what I mean? It ain't a great middle, but it ain't the worst middle either. But that did not happen here. Also the look at it was 47.5. The first limit bet it took, they went right to 44.5. Since then, it hasn't gotten any action. So don't look at it as if it's been steamed under because it's a 3-point move. It's nothing could be further from the truth. It took a limit bet or 2 to move it 3 full points. Cincinnati, Minnesota, under 47.5 and 46.5 was the look ahead. They came in and hit the under 43 as well. Those are what you want to pay attention to. What has followed through? I know I'm going long. Finally, Dallas and Chicago over. The look ahead 46.5 to 48. Now they're hitting 48s, 49s, 49.5s, and 50s over. And finally on Monday night, Detroit plus the 6.5 and 6. And that's why you're looking at 5.5s right now. So busy in NFL already, but it's only going to get more action as we approach the weekend.
I know where I stand on this. I'm curious where you stand and where some of the groups that you work with, backup quarterbacks, and how much they affect the lines and what the books do with them. I find that there can be an incredible amount of volume or an incredible amount of value if you like one of the backup quarterbacks, because I feel like sometimes the books are a little vanilla with how they price some of these lines. So there are some backup quarterbacks that I think are legit. What do some of the groups agree with?
Bro, nothing could be further from the truth. You're 100% on point. You're right. They are so mispriced. See, because and not every quarterback is worth the same. And even though like we look at like a Tom Brady during his era as a elite level A quarterback. Okay. The comparison is the drop off, not how good Tom is, but what is the difference between Tom and his backup? Like what's the drop off? And I think that's where a lot of the mispricing comes because we see these stud quarterbacks. We think they're amazing, but maybe the drop off between number 1 and number 2 isn't that great. Where in other teams, you may be a bad quarterback to begin with, but then the drop off is also really steep. So we underestimate thinking, okay, this guy sucked already. So are they really losing anything? But if the backup is just 3x worse, then that adjustment should be even greater. And I think you could really take advantage of that. Marco calls it the injured player theory. I've learned a lot working with Marco all those years. And because we overreact, we think players are worth more to the betting line than they are, especially quarterbacks. And if you're not getting ahead of an injury, which almost none of us can in today's world with social media, you're not getting ahead of the market. I think you take advantage of it that way, like you just touched on. Wait for the market to overreact and think the player's worth more than he is, because then it's the perfect storm for value, like we touched on. Not only are you getting more points than you should, but now you're getting a motivated team. Because, bro, we got to step up. We got our number 2 today. You can't lax. You know what I mean? We ain't got Brady behind center to pull us through. So everybody else levels up their game as well. So it's the perfect storm to get value on a team with an injured quarterback. I love that handicap. I look for it all the time.
Yeah, I think Browning is serviceable. Yes, there's a drop off to Burrow to Browning. How big of a difference? I don't know. I think Mariota played good last year for Washington. I know you're on Vegas, but I don't know. There's just some of these quarterbacks. Now Carson Wentz, I'm terrified of, and probably Gianni because I watched him here in Indianapolis, and it was one of the most horrible quarterbacking I've ever seen. So you're gonna be hard pressed to get me to bet on Carson Wentz, but I'm just mentally scarred from some of the throws that I.
Can I touch real quickly on Sean's question? Great question.
Absolutely.
He said, I know parlays are negative EV usually, but he got Colts 3.5, Falcons 3.5, and Cardinals 2.5. And here's what I'm talking about, why it's so hard to argue that 3-leg, 4-leg, 5-leg parlays can be profitable, because you had to place that at that same property at that same time. And when I look at my board right now, I could get Arizona plus 2.5. So you got a bad number on Arizona. Again, is that 1 point going to matter? Probably not. But just the fact that now I could get a better number than what you had to lock it in with defeats the purpose of beating the market and placing plus EV bets. Because again, it's so hard to do when you have to place them all at the same time. Maybe you could argue a 2-leg parlay. You could beat get a good number at the same property. But once you get into those 4-leg, 5-leg parlays, it's very hard to argue that at that exact moment of time, at that exact property, you got the best numbers on your parlay. It's tough to do.
Let's move to college football. The one I talked about when you were gone is this Army and North Texas game that's just like completely flip-flopped here. What was it? Army -2.5. Now it's North Texas. It was -2.5 yesterday when we talked about it. Money's coming in. That seems like a crazy game. Any other games that you see some pretty aggressive moves?
Yeah, and I want to share a nugget that Marco shared on Bet On It with that. And he said now with the, college players getting paid and NIL and all of that, the service academies are going to start falling further and further behind. They're just not going to be able to pay these guys to like, except for the Patriots, you know what I mean, that happen to be, 5-star recruits. It's going to be hard for them to compete and go out there and get players over the next, few seasons. So I could see why the market's disagreeing there with the Army side. Now, real quickly, weekday games, Charlotte +4.5, all the way down to that key number of 3 they took. Then Friday, they took Tulsa +13, Tulsa +12.5. You touched on North Texas game 309. We bet them at +2.5. That's nice. Now flipped. Haven't seen any resistance yet. Like they're not betting the opposite side, trying to middle that. 320 Miami, Ohio +3.5. 340 Wisconsin -7 and 7.5. That's opposite the public. I know a lot of money opposite Wisconsin. Michigan -1.5 and money line bet simultaneously, as well as over 44 and 44.5. Duke 332 -2.5. ECU, East Carolina +7.5. Last game on the board, Hawaii +3.5 and 3. And then today they came in on Central Florida -6.5, and that one had already moved. So they came in again and hit the Central Florida side. That's why you're looking at 7. And they also went under 51 and 50.5 in Toledo, Western Michigan.
Let's move to baseball. Yesterday, Gianni, there was a strange game. It was the Oakland-Boston game where like all the money and all the tickets were on Boston. The line was going the complete opposite direction. We had a chat here. It was like, oh no, when all the money's going one way and the line's going the other way, like look out. Sure, the game went to extra innings. Boston ended up pulling it out, but it was an interesting game to monitor on how much money was on one side, yet the books were saying lines going the other way. So what are we seeing here on Major League Baseball slate today?
All right, and real quickly for Michael Mela, no, I don't play 3-team 10-point teasers. I used to do 3-team 6-point teasers. They used to pay +180. There were books that made the mistake. So check out your book. If they're paying you 3-team teasers at 6 points and you get +180, that's like getting a 2-team 6-point teaser at even money. So if you just wong it and go through 3, 6, 7, you got about a 5.5% edge on every bet. So if you can get a 3-team 6-point teaser at +180, you got a 5.5% edge. Don't mess that up. Looking at baseball today, it's the uglies. Athletics, 963. Athletics, +140, +135 even. New York Mets, 952, -120, -125. Anti-public on Miami, Colorado. They went under 10.5. It's now at 10, and the public's betting that one over like they have tomorrow's paper. Seattle in a fight for the West, laying -105. And finally, chalky, but they bet the Yankees, 967, and the over at 8.5 even money. So it's a little MLB for you as well today.
Yeah, real quick. I got to have you tell the story about Contender Series. So on Tuesday, I said that there was a guy, and he was part of our $5 Tuesday play. You better believe we were fading that guy. I said there's a guy that has tattoos and social media following. I think that's why he's fighting, because he's terrible. And then he went out and he laid a complete egg. Can you tell everyone the inside story and the talk?
We were in the production meeting for that fight, and you saw that was the one fight I didn't even get to go on and give a pick for. Because it was like we thought that by the time that the fight goes, it'll be like -700, 800. So you know what I mean? Because it kept going up, and we were just confused why the line's not moving up, like from 200, 300, 400. Why is it not doing that? And I think it was the look of the guy. Because even the fighters that were in the meeting were like, dude, we got to get this dude a contract. We need him on here. His message was, you're going to love this. He wanted to be rich and famous. Okay, but then he realized he don't want to be rich. He just wants to be famous. came to that conclusion.
I didn't bet enough on that. I didn't bet enough on that fight. Oh my God.
He said, keep your money, bro. Keep your money. Bring me my fame. That's all I need. You can have your cash.
Oh, man.
Dude, that's my guy. We're following him all the way to the PFL.
Oh, I can't wait to bet against that guy. I don't care where he's fighting. Okay, I have a very important question for you. This has been a topic on the show that you're not on. How do I pronounce your first name?
Gianni. It's really Gianni. Okay.
Gianni. Okay.
My initial birth certificate, if what said Ioannis, because it's really St. Ioannis. So they wrote it like Joannis. And in school, I used to be embarrassed first day, every year. They'd be like Joannis, and they would think, let's start making fun of me. And then I got to like Little League, and I begged my parents to change my name. Like, please legally change my name. Give me an American name. And the closest thing was John. That was like St. John. And that's what they put on my redid a birth certificate. But it's really Yanni. That's really Yanni.
Okay. Yanni. Okay.
Yes,
I got you. People get confused because my legal name is Andy, and they just automatically think it's Andrew. And my insurance
I even call you that sometimes. I even call you that.
My insurance company did it once, and I had a claim, and they were like, "You're not Andrew Lang. We wrote your name down wrong," and they tried to argue because they wrote my name down wrong. So, all right, we now have a fit. Yes, blocked. Yes, we all now have confirmation. Yanni.
Yes, sir.
Yanni, we got you. All right, Yanni, tell everyone what you have up on this Thursday.
Tonight, I know it's not the sexiest game, but I got a 5%. Listen, if the matchup warrants it, I'm going to fire it. Again, you want to wait for the busiest time of the weekend, hit them on Saturday and Sunday, but it warrants it. Again, you don't go crazy because it's only 1% more than my 4%, and we only bet a quarter of that. So the just real lightly, just to put in perspective, if I have a $10,000 bankroll, I recommend my guys bet $100 on a 4%. They're bet $125 on a 5%. So I'm not downplaying it, but I just don't want you to go crazy. With that said, currently number one in NFL and college football combined for 2025. I got my Saturday package up for college football. I got my Sunday package up for the NFL. But we're starting tonight with a 5% on the Dolphins and Bills game. So join me and let's do some damage. Let's have a big couple days. So far, so good. Thanks for having me, Andy Lang. And best of luck to you, my brother.
You too, Yanni. Let's do this, brother. Let's have a great Thursday. Right. So that was good. So yes, listen. Hey, I've heard his name pronounced a bunch of different ways, but now we heard it from him. I feel embarrassed that I haven't asked him before this. That was the big mistake. The big mistake was just not asking him before. My God, he's on the show every day. What are we doing here? So, all right, let's bring on. Now I know how to pronounce Joe Raineri's name. Joe's got an easy name. Is it Joe? Yes, it's Joe. Let's bring on Joe Raineri. Joe, happy Thursday. How are you today?
What's happening, Andy? I'm shocked it took you that long to figure out VR's real name there and how to pronounce it.
I feel failed. That was really bad on my part. I think I just kind of got into he never corrected me. That was the other thing. I just called him that, and just tell me however you want me to pronounce it. It's like how Bijan Robinson, everyone called him Bijan. And after how long in the NFL, he was like, by the way, everyone's pronouncing my name wrong.
It's like, what's up, dude? Yeah.
You could have chimed in just a little bit sooner.
So, hey, man, what's going on? All right. Yeah, no, names are secondary. Yeah.
So we're going to talk Thursday night football here. We got this Bills and Dolphins game, and then we're going to talk Tulsa and your boys, Oklahoma State. Mm-hmm. Let's start with NFL. NFL is king. I know what the spread is, and we all know the story. Let me ask you this. When was the last time a coach was on a big-time hot seat like this, and the team just rallied around him and was like, nope, we're going to fight our tails off on the road on a short week, and we're going to save this guy's job? It kind of feels like it doesn't really happen here. What's your breakdown on this game?
Well, I can tell you down here in South Florida from the guys that I've talked to that cover this team, Andy, they've been trying to do everything in their power to get rid of him for a while now. And for some reason, he's still there. But that, depending on what happens here tonight, Stephen Ross, the owner of the Miami Dolphins, there was talk of there being an ultimatum this year with not just him, but the GM Greer as well. They had a lot of malcontents in that locker room a year ago, and namely, one of them was, Ramsey, who's no longer there. He's with Pittsburgh, but they still have Tyreek Hill. He was the other guy that was the big issue, and they still, him and Tua, can't get on the same page. So, lack of leadership, guys showing up late. You name it, I have heard it here. And judging from the fact that you've allowed not one but two teams here, one being led by Drake May, the other by Danny Dimes, and this team has allowed them to score wrap up 33 points in each one of those games. What is Josh Allen going to put on them here tonight, this offense of Buffalo? Short week. They haven't won in Buffalo and Orchard Park since 2016. This is either going to be extremely ugly here, or Buffalo is going to just go through the motions here and just hurry up and try and get the win and get a little extra rest before next week, because the injuries are piling up on the defensive side of the ball for them.
I don't even know what to do. Side total, 50.5 is monstrous. Buffalo's going to do their part. Can Miami even get there? And what do you do with double digits? In the past, do you like laying points with this, or you just say, that's too many points? I can't get there.
Short weeks, I never look at anybody but home teams anyway. But I would cut this game in half, Andy. I think that what's going to happen here is the Buffalo Bills are going to do what they've done to both the Jets, right? Lesser teams. They're going to boat race them early at home in Orchard Park. If you've noticed, Buffalo is all of a sudden becoming a power running team now. They are going to run the ball down your throat. And it's not going to be just Josh Allen tucking it and running it. It is going to be everybody. Davis, it's going to be Cook. They have done an amazing job and gone out of their way to make sure that they can run the ball with that offensive line and not have to drop Josh Allen back. So the number is 7 early in here. The idea that Miami is somehow going to go toe-to-toe and try to go point for point with Buffalo, I just don't see it happening. They're going to try, because they can't play keep away. That's impossible. So I'm going to take Buffalo to have a double-digit lead in the first half and then use that running game to milk the clock in the second half and get out of there without any more injuries.
I agree with that assessment. I thought Buffalo kind of showed their cards last year towards the end. Hey, we need to run. We can't get Josh Allen dropping back 50 times a game. I drafted James Cook in my big fantasy league, so I was a believer in this. So, all right, we're looking at the first half there. Tulsa, Oklahoma State. Listen, good news is I don't think Oklahoma State has to worry about getting beat by 66 points this week. They are the favorite. They're facing a Tulsa team, and they got this big total here, 54.5. I believe in your team's offense. I don't know if you believe in Tulsa's offense. What's your take on this game?
This is awful. Just find anything else to do but watch this game here. Listen, we're watching the end of the Mike Gundy era at Oklahoma State, whether we like it or we don't. It's just run its course. And he's been there forever. He's been there over 20 some odd years. This whole NIL situation has changed everything. He just doesn't have the players. And not that Tulsa does, but this is a huge big brother, little brother situation where they're only about an hour and 20 minutes apart, these campuses, with Stillwater and Tulsa here. So Tulsa's actually a pretty decent team. And, Oklahoma State's lost 10 of their last 11 games. The only win they've had in that stretch was UT Martin in the opener, a 20-point win, and even that wasn't put away right away. So, yeah, I like Tulsa. There's no way I can lay this many points with Oklahoma State, who now is already on to their backup quarterback, who struggled last week. Obviously, everybody struggled there against Oregon. But it's just not the same Gundy and the same aura where, Gundy at home in this spot against lesser teams, it's an automatic cover. Those days are long gone. It's the beginning of the end for Gundy and Oklahoma State. There's only one way I would look, and that is take these damn points here and do not watch the game at all. Plus, they got Baylor next week, their Big 12 opener. So, yeah, they might very well look past Tulsa here, and that would be unfortunate if they lost.
I was looking at Tulsa over their team total at 21.5, and I was like, man, you couldn't give me 20.5. You had to move it a half point over there. I have not watched your guys' defense. Trying to play defense against Oregon is just everybody's going to struggle except some of the top teams. I don't know, 21.5, is your defense good enough to hold them under? Because I lean under at the 21.5.
You'd be surprised. I think Tulsa can hang here. I thought they did a really good job against Navy. As a matter of fact, that game was close until the second half, where they got a couple of extra touchdowns in the fourth quarter and pulled it away. But call me crazy. I mean, 42-23 against Navy last week. They were around that game a lot. So I would not be shocked if they can put more than 3 touchdowns on the board against Oklahoma State.
All right, and Daryl has to jump in. He's no longer called Danny Dimes. The Colts now we call him Indiana Jones. I don't know if you've heard this now or not. It's low hanging fruit, but it is kind of a fun nickname here. I have not embraced it.
I like it.
It's so corny that I don't even know.
I like
Can we give him 3 games maybe before we start anointing him? And just impromptu, we had a question yesterday and then today. Do you have any thoughts on this Michigan game? What is it, Michigan, Nebraska? I have not researched it, but we had a couple questions on that. We didn't get to it earlier. I don't know if you know anything about this game.
Yeah, to me, it was a under game. That's where I looked at it from a total perspective here with these two defenses. Although, I mean, listen, Raiola has been good. You've got the problem that I have with college football right now, Andy, and these young quarterbacks, these studs, is that they're millionaires now, Andy. We've got 18 and 19-year-old college quarterbacks who are raking in 7 figures in NIL money here. And, if you win a game, great. If you lose the game, oh, well, we're still millionaires here. So it's a different dynamic now in college football. You got 2 young, good quarterbacks, but I think the defenses are going to reign true here, man. I like the under with Nebraska and Michigan.
Joe, your show is awesome with Prez and Art DeCesar. Tell us about that and tell everyone what you have up at WagerTalk.
Yeah, apparently I drew the short straw there, so I got to do the show with the Prez. Thank God for Art to keep us sane there. My goodness. In fact, the show is up already, guys. You can check it out. The best betting show ever there. It's on the YouTube page. Art has a lot of information about this Miami-Buffalo game from the Westgate perspective in the show, so make sure you guys check that out. We've got all the best bets locked and loaded in the show as well, and I got not 1 but 2 Major League Baseball best bets up and ready to roll here tonight. We've been crushing it in the MLB. Now is the time of year, these final 2 weeks, Andy, where the lines are soft, the books are sleeping, and we are cashing a whole lot of tickets with it.
Joe, what's been working for you in MLB? I'm always interested. Is it sides, totals, a certain couple of teams, just a little bit of everything? I was like hearing
a lot of situational spots this time of year. There are clearly teams that have their tickets booked on cruises and they are ready to go. They got tee times lined up, and there are those that are still battling. A lot of first fives, bullpens, as far as I'm concerned, not to be trusted on any team so far this year. So if you got an edge starting pitching, take advantage of it while you can here in the final 2 weeks.
Joe Raineri, 2 MLB plays up. Go grab those. Joe, thank you so much. Always good to hear from you. Take care. Have a great Thursday.
Appreciate it, man.
All right, we got Dave Mason coming up real quick. My NFL props pack is up. We are in play tonight with an official best bet. This pack includes every play from tonight's game all the way through Sunday, all the way through Monday. We've hit 59% of our props through the first 2 weeks, and I could not be happier with that number. That number is sustainable. That number is profitable. We obviously don't want to be losing, but you also don't want to be winning too big on a percentage, because regression is coming. So I'm really happy with where we're sitting with props. It's a grind, week in and week out. So 59%, I would be ecstatic if we could do that every week. So one price, one pack, WT.buzz/AL. Let's get the profits started tonight in this Thursday night game. You get that, and you get all of our props all the way through Monday Night Football. All right, let's bring on Dave Mason. Dave, I got several things to ask you. Got to ask about where we can beat Dave Mason, but Gianni brought up something interesting, Dan. I wanted to ask you about how you move lines or adjust lines. He was talking about how Buffalo's probably in a lot of money line parlays. There's a lot of first halves. There's a lot of teasers. When you have a team that's like piled on in all those different, types of areas, what do you do with the overall spread for the full game?
Yeah, it's a tricky one. He's right. I mean, I was just looking at that action earlier, and this is a huge. I always tweet out the needs on the spread, but it gets much more granular when you're talking about the teaser liability and the money line parlays and all that stuff. I mean, they're often there's so much money on these teasers and money line parlays that often there's more money on that than there are just straight bets on the spread and or money line. So that definitely comes into play a lot, especially with the teasers. Sometimes you'll see like -9, a plus money and stuff like that. That's kind of combating teasers right there, because you're trying to prevent people to tease them through two key numbers to get more value. But a game like tonight, it's only 11.5, even though everybody's on the Bills, and that's because not everybody's on the Bills. The Sharps have taken the Dolphins. I mean, they hit the Dolphins at 12 and 13, I believe. So, you're playing whack-a-mole. You're trying to cover your exposure on the Sharps, but you're giving more value on the public and then the money line parlays and the teasers. So. But you can't give too much value on those Sharps, or else they just pound you for big money, and they'll key that and parlays. Not that much, but sometimes they will if you're all off on round robins and whatnot. So yeah, it's like whack-a-mole.
All right, so we play Beat Dave Mason. Where's the vulnerability? Where's all the bets going? My guess was going to be a Bills and Packers teaser. It seems like the most obvious play that the public will be all over.
Yeah, I mean that's a popular teaser. Bucks are a popular teaser. Seahawks are a popular teaser. Packers, of course, tonight. Like I said, what let me see what percentage of teaser money is on tonight. 95% of the cash on teasers tonight is on the Bills. 99% of money line parlay is on the Bills. So that just tells you, and that's a lot of volume too. There's so much value on it. So yeah. Yeah, those teasers are something else. What else? The Sharps. Let me see what the Sharps are on. Miami, like I said, 12 and 13 tonight. A little bit of Browns +8. Steelers -1, a little bit there. 49ers -1.5 or better. Jags -115 outright. Rams +174 outright. Falcons over. I think that's 43.5. Raiders under 47.5. Saints under 42. And Chiefs over 44.5. So that's the Sharp stuff. But yeah, those teasers are huge. I mean, I placed one of those teasers too this weekend. So, and speaking of teasers, I mean, I don't know if you saw, but some books are offering like -135 on 2 team 6-point teasers now, which is outrageous. We're still at -110 or -115, depending on whether you're crossing key numbers or not. So -135 it's gross.
Oh, those of us that live in states with the DraftKings and the FanDuels have noticed, Dave.
But you know what? If a player gets hurt, if a player gets hurt, you might get your props refunded, though. I mean, it's the banana in the tailpipe, man. It is smoke and mirrors. Give me a break.
Yeah, listen, let me touch on that. You know why I can't stand that? I can't stand that rule for a bunch of reasons, but one of them is it just gives them the ability to just make stuff up as they go along.
Well, yeah,
can we have some rules, please?
Yeah, well, listen, like I've said a zillion times on your show here, I'm more of a marketing guy, so I get it. I mean, we've done kind of PR stuff like that in the past, but we learned it bites you in the rear end because the next, you might, okay, we're going to no action unders to be nice people, and everybody tweets it, and everybody's happy for one day. But then people want that's not enough. They want this. Well, my under, it hurt the point spread, and this, you know what I mean. So one person's happy, yes, but other people aren't happy that prop had something to do with it. The big quarterback goes out, and next time someone gets hurt, well, where's my refund? So it's better just to find years back, like after COVID, we were real friendly with stuff. And after COVID, it's like, you know what? It's a no-win situation. Let's just concentrate on what we do best. If they want to have those PR big PR things on a Monday Night Football game, cool. But you know what? Our players are getting a lot better juice. I mean, that's why they can afford to do stuff like that nonstop. It's because they're killing you on the juice. So,
Yeah.
whatever.
I mean, listen, Dave, you know how many unders I've lost in garbage time? I don't get a refund.
Of course.
I don't get a refund when a guy cashes an under in the last 20 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, bigger things. I mean, we're all victims these days. Victim mentality is at an all-time high, and we're all, it's like, dude, that's the way the ball bounces, and those things even out. Those things even out at the end of the year, man.
Yes,
you might have a bad beat, but for every bad beat, you've had a lucky win that you shouldn't have won. So all that stuff evens out at the end of the year. That's what you have to. That's why I still have fights I bet in the past that I think, you know what, I lucked out there. So the next time I'm not going to whine. I still do a little bit, but I don't blame the books.
Oh, I've lost UFC fights where the guy tested positive for steroids a couple weeks later. It was like, I knew that guy didn't hit that hard. I want to move to college football. Where's the action this week? Where's some of the sharp money?
Sharp stuff. Tonight, two-way, Rice -2, Charlotte +3, North Texas -7.5, BYU -6, ECU +7.5, Arkansas -7, Nevada +11.5, Sam Houston State +41. Too many totals to mention. Every other damn total has some sharp action on it. Liabilities, USC, Louisiana Tech are our biggest liabilities at the moment. Highest bet count, Oklahoma by far. Then you got Miami, Florida, Illinois, and Utah.
Last thing before I let you go here. In NFL, have there been any teams that you have made some pretty aggressive changes to, like power rankings to start the season? And hey, even though we're 2 weeks in, we're going to adjust them pretty big. Or are you guys still kind of standing where you were at the beginning of the season? Or are you just saying, hey, the markets dictate where these lines go?
And do the Bengals count?
Yeah, they count. Of course they count.
Of course they dropped, of course, with Joe Burrow. They plummeted in the power rank. I mean, KC, the season's young, but they're dropping, they're dropping for the beginning of the season. So they're a high profile team. That their rankings are definitely dropping. And they're still up there, only 2 games in. They still have Mahomes under center, Andy Reid on the sideline. So, but they're definitely going south as of now. But of course, there's teams. For every team going south, there's teams going up, like the Colts, like the Packers.
Yeah.
So a lot of stock up, stock down for sure.
It's been fun watching the Colts. I got to be honest. Like I'm still nervous. I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. Maybe they are this good. It's been fun. It's been refreshing. They got their first road game this week, but I'll enjoy it while I can. I just need to see a little bit more before I'm going all in on. Yeah,
they're our biggest Super Bowl winner at the moment, so we're rooting for them.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
People believed in Daniel Jones. How about
no?
that?
Our biggest winner. Did I say loser or winner? They're our biggest winner. So if they won the Super Bowl, sorry about that. Maybe I said loser, but biggest. I'm usually the biggest winner. So if they won the Super Bowl at this moment, Super Bowl is today, and they won, that would be our biggest win.
Wow.
Yeah. But there wasn't a lot of preseason action on the Colts, though. But
Yeah, I don't doubt that. All right, what's Dave Mason betting this weekend? What do you like?
I did a teaser. I did one of those, square teasers that everybody does. But hell, I can't. Sometimes you look at it, you just can't resist, man. Bucks and Seahawks. I'm teasing them down 6.5 down to half, laying on the Bucks and Seahawks laying 1.5. Again, -115 at betonline.ag as opposed to -135 elsewhere. 49ers -2.5. I took the Lions +5. They're now +4.5. So that's what I'm on for NFL. Maybe going to add some more. Probably hop on some more of those teasers. I don't know, man. I usually try to stay away from those, but some of these just look too damn good.
I know. They've been good through the first 2 weeks. I guess if it ain't
we're getting killed. We need to win some NFL money. We got killed the first 2 Sundays of the season.
Somehow I think you're going to be okay.
Yeah, we'll work.
This is where it turns around for old BetOnline.ag. So, all right, where can we find you at and tell us about BetOnline?
Dave Mason BOL on Twitter. Come on over to betonline.ag. I mentioned our great teaser odds. I mean, there's so much action on these teasers. You really, really have to pay attention to what your book is charging you on the juice on those teasers. We also open our lines up earlier than just about every other book. Usually an arms race between us and a very respected book in Vegas to see who opens the odds up first for next week. And all sorts of different markets. We just added to this morning Jimmy Kimmel's replacement. We have Greg Gutfield, the plus 400 favorite, Theo Vaughn plus 500 right behind him. They're the two favorites. Then down the opposite end of the spectrum, the long shots are Scott Baio at 250 to 1 and Stephen Colbert at 300 to 1. So poor Stephen Colbert can't even. Scott Baio has a better chance of replacing Jimmy Kimmel over Stephen Colbert.
Do you have a nun?
No, do we need one?
I would think that'd be the favorite. I think this is that's the thing with these late night shows. There aren't replacements waiting. This is a tough model these days. People are watching. Who do you know staying up at 11 o'clock, 11:30 to watch these shows? I think I think networks are getting thrown a lifeboat to get out of these monster contracts. It's so expensive to make, and that's the thing. I remember way back when it was exciting. Who's going to be next? Is it Leno? Is it Letterman? Who's taking over?
Oh yeah.
There's no excitement to take over these shows. I think they're disappearing like dust in the wind.
No, there's there's just who else stays up that late to listen to. I mean, they're not entertaining anymore. I don't want to sound like old head, but the Johnny Carsons and Letterman of yesteryear, they were good.
Yeah.
These guys are, it's just, and who's staying up too late? Too much competition, too much on late at night, and whatever.
Watch it on YouTube the very next day.
Yeah, exactly. Watch the highlights, right? Watch 2-minute highlights. There you go.
Yeah. So, all right, Dave Mason, you can bet on Jimmy Kimmel's next replacement. I respect it, Dave. I respect it.
Appreciate you.
The king of the props, Dave Mason, betonline.ag, and he's not joking about the juice. When they released those NFL teasers at the beginning of the season for some of these legal books, good Lord, can't believe it. So, all right, let's do all around the world, and then we're going to bring in Dan because we got to talk a little bit about Survivor on a Thursday because the Bills are a big-time option here. So let's do 3 free plays here. Oh, and I'm going to break down some props for Thursday Night Football. So let's do free plays. We'll start with the Padres and the Mets. Padres over 4.5. On the team total. This morning it was at plus money. There's no way that stays there. Tong is pitching for the Mets. He's been awful. 11.2 innings, 13 hits and 11 earned runs in those 11.2 innings. Padres have gone over this total 3 out of the last 4. This theory worked for us yesterday. Yeah, it took extra innings, but we got there. So let's take a look at that one. We're going right back to Nelissa Smith over 8.5 points. She went under the last game. I said come back and play it again. I'm going to stick to my guns. She's gone over in 5 out of the last 7 and 11 out of the last 14 against the Storm. She has never had back-to-back games under this total against the Storm. Nelissa Smith over the points. Ralph Michael special. Mariners at Royals. Yurfee, yes, have a run in the first inning. Royals 10-0 run. Yurfee. Mariners 4-0 run on the Yurfee. 6-1 away games, Yurfee. So we got a lot of trends saying that yes, there's going to be a run here in the first inning. So let's do some Thursday Night Football props. These are some leans. I'm going to take a look at Josh Allen, and I'm going to take an under on Josh Allen. I'm going to take his under 271.5 passing. Last week in a big win, he only threw for 148 yards, and they rushed for 224 yards. The Dolphins have faced more rush attempts this season than any other team. Short week, defense that's faced a ton of rush attempts. I'm going to take him to go under his passing yards. I just don't see a huge passing game. Not a lot of pass attempts. I'm going to take him under half an interception. He hasn't thrown an interception this season. Miami, no interceptions this season. So get an uninterested pass defense, taking the under on that one. Let's do a same game parlay, plus 144. James Cook, anytime touchdown score, and I'm going to put that with the Bills over 30.5 on their team total. Cook has 3 TDs this season. Miami has given up 33 points in both of their games, and Buffalo has scored 41 and 30 in the last 2 games. So what I wanted to do is try and get the James Cook anytime touchdown up to a better number because odds are they're going to be in close and James Cook is going to score. So that was at minus 170, but we've put the Bills team total over and we get that thing up to plus 144. I mentioned yesterday, Ray Davis over 24.5. I do have to mention that again. Dolphins have given up 156, 122 yards rushing in the first two games. Defense short notice or a short week. And like I said, they faced more rush attempts. Short week, when you faced as many rush attempts as them, I just don't think they're going to have the juice in the second half. Ray Davis only had 1 carry week 1, 9 carries for 24 yards last week. Expect Ray Davis to have a really nice total. I might look at playing his total live at halftime. If Buffalo's up a couple scores, see what the number is on Ray Davis. You might be able to ladder him up to 25, 30, 40 yards. So those are your Thursday night prop plays for tonight. All right, let's bring on Dan because we got to talk a little bit about we got to talk Survivor because this is the first Thursday game. I think we've had a pretty obvious play. Now, okay, technically, it's a divisional game on Thursday.
Yeah,
but
always worries you a little bit, but there is one team in this division that seems dead, and they're playing tonight. So yeah,
Yes.
divisional games are worrisome, Andy, but I don't know if the worry is quite there. The thing is here, I'll pull up the Odds Logic live screen so we can get a peek at
does
this.
it just say Miami stinks?
Just like
do they even
Yeah,
put the point
well,
spread
like-
or it just says Miami stinks?
Yeah, it doesn't even say. It just says Miami is awful. No, 11.5. This thing, actually, we have seen a little bit of buyback on Miami, surprisingly. I don't get it, but also this is a monster number. You're just looking this week, like, what other ones jump off the board at you for Survivor? The number one Survivor play this week is going to be this one right here. It's going to be New Orleans against Seattle. That's going to be the one where everyone's
Really?
taking Seattle.
Okay.
1,000%. Because when else do you take Seattle? It's getting to fade New Orleans, and here's the worry for me is, Spencer Rattler on the road. Is he probably going to beat the Seahawks? No. But one of these weeks, the chaos, holy shit, how did they beat them game could come. And would it be the craziest thing in the world for the holy shit, oh my God, I can't believe they lost game to be a New Orleans Saints game? It's going to be a New Orleans Saints game. It's going to be a Panthers game. Or, it's going to be a Jaguars game,
Okay.
And I was even mulling around, Andy, like, do we just go and put Buffalo in now and move on with the week? Or,
Well,
you scroll down further here, Andy, I kind of want to use Buffalo next week. They play New
That's-
Orleans next week. You know what I mean?
That's the thing. So we're looking to next week, and next week it's hard. You got Seahawks, Cardinals.
very
That's
hard.
tough. Vikings, Steelers. That's going to be tough unless Wentz looks
In
awful.
Dublin.
But that's overseas.
In Dublin.
Overseas.
You can't use
Commanders,
an overseas game. Yeah.
Commanders, Falcons. That one's tough. Now Browns at Lions. That could be the monumental
Lions
number
spot.
one. Panthers, Patriots. That could be tough. Chargers, Giants. Maybe the Chargers, but they're on the road. Eagles, Bucks. I think that one is tough. Titans, Texans. Colts, Rams, Jags, 49, Ravens, Chiefs, Bears. These are all tough games next week. I think I want to save my Buffalo for next week. I think Buffalo is the obvious pick. So let's go through the nominees for this week. I have Colts at Titans, road game, divisional game, but man, I don't know.
It's also the first road game for this Colt. I mean, again, you're not taking them on the spread, but to be honest with you, over a field goal for Tennessee with the team that has now been anointed, I'm sorry, blocked, but I'm looking to fade the Colts. I'll probably fade the Colts every week until I get to say I told you so. If they had played a road game already, Andy, probably. You know what I mean? But the fact that this is their first road game after being anointed as, Daniel Jones has found his landing spot, that worries me a little bit.
Move on to Jets at Buccaneers. Buccaneers facing Tyrod Taylor, and then you get this Buccaneers offensive line that they're down 3 linemen.
Dead.
It's tough. It's really tough. You could get sneaky. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, maybe you're thinking the same thing. Like, do I just risk my entire entry and go Jags? Like, I think Houston is really bad. I think their defense has been getting by, and this whole entire team has been getting by on C.J. Stroud's rookie year for 2 seasons now, man. So,
did you watch Jacksonville
Jacksonville's
blow it
been
against
competitive.
Jake Browning?
I mean, that one's gross. That
It's
one's
gross. The Raiders could be pretty terrible, but I think Mariota is a little bit underrated. So there's that one. I got to be honest. I'm staring at this Falcons-Panthers game. That Panthers team is horrific. Robinson and Algier could run for 250 yards. There's a chance that they're have
really bad against the run.
38, 39 minutes of possession against that Panthers team. Panthers are 0-2. And even though that was a one-score game last week, they needed an onside kick and a last-second score. And here's my thing, Dave. I've used the Cardinals and the Cowboys, so I've snuck by. Boy, if I could use the Falcons and I could go into week 4 knowing I've only used the Cardinals, the Cowboys, and the Falcons, I'm feeling pretty damn good. I don't trust the Seahawks team.
I think you've won me over. I think I'm going to hold on to Buffalo. I don't think I'm going to burn it tonight.
I think you need them next week. I think you need them next week.
We'll finalize our picks tomorrow when we do the official
Okay.
I Will Survive picks, but I'm heavily leaning this Atlanta game, or I just risk it all and go Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville wins outright this week. 1.5 point favorite, basically a pick 'em game right there. I'm between those two, Andy. I mean, that would be the, oh my God, I have every team that I could possibly want left if I get Jacksonville home. So.
I get, could you throw Chiefs at the Giants? Are the Chiefs going to go 0-3?
Here's the crazy thing is I think this is the Chiefs get right spot, but Giants, it's a really, if you back the Giants, even if you take Giants against the spread, like you're really buying the Giants as high as you possibly can buy them coming off a near overtime win against the Cowboys.
Against a horrific defense. Chiefs.
Yeah, exactly. And
two tough games.
Chiefs, this is Chiefs. Do they win this game or do they go under their season win total and maybe not make the playoffs if they lose this game?
And honestly, I listened to a podcast where they're making the case that Travis Kelce has literally cost them 2 games and a wide receiver. he is single-handedly like cost them, and it's like he's not going to be this bad all season. So I don't know. We'll make our final. We'll make our final decision. But I think we're both going to hang on to the Bills.
Yeah, I'm not gonna use the Bills tonight. I'm keeping that bullet in the chamber. Maybe we'll kick ourselves, but next week's like a slam dunk, easy Bills.
Yeah, because here's the thing. Like, let's say we use the Bills next week, but then we lose let's say we use the Bills this week, but we lose next week because we already used them.
We're in the same
It doesn't
spot.
matter. We lost.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So, all right. Chad says, Andy determined apparently to be wrong about Seattle for all season. I don't know what my strong stance was in Seattle, but Chad, that is funny. That is funny. You think 50% of the tickets are going to be on Seattle this week? Could we reach 50%?
I mean, for Survivor, that's going to be the pick of the week. That's
yeah.
I don't know if people 50%. Are laying the spread, but that's going to be the Survivor pick.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Dan and I will get you all the Survivor picks tomorrow. Guys, tomorrow's Football Friday. Gianni's coming in strong with National Football League and College Football Steam right before. Teddy Covers is going to be here. Marco is going to be here. Kelly in Vegas is going to be here talking the Westgate Super Contest. Dan and I will make our official Survivor picks. We're going to get you locked and loaded. So tomorrow is a huge, huge show. Every Friday, it is the best football show to get you ready for the weekend. So make sure you're joining us. It's a great show today, guys. Thank you so much. Live chat, you guys killed it as always. Please hit the like button. It really helps us out, helps the algorithm out. We had a little polarizing talk earlier about the Bengals and the Vikings. Post in the comments section if you're rolling with the Bengals and the Vikings. 2 teams starting backup quarterbacks already in week 2. So we'll talk about that game a little bit tomorrow and see where the line ends up. Thank you to everybody. Have a great day. Good luck on your bets tonight. NFL Prop Pack is up. The first official play for clients go tonight. WT.buzz/AL. Good luck on your plays. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care.